if this was really a threat to democracy, why didn't Biden stack the court? There's nothing written down that you can't have more Supreme Court justices. He could have put 5 liberal, not neoliberal, but left-leaning ones in there and stack the court. Haven't done it. Why? Because Biden is kind of that old school politician who tries to reach across the aisle. A whole bunch of the Democrats in America who are older, who still try to reach across the aisle, haven't quite figured out yet that when you reach across the aisle to the GOP, they typically punch you in the face, but they keep trying to reach across the aisle. It's a bizarre thing.
Yeah, they're playing by a different rule set. I mean, I don't think the US has really recovered from what the Tea Party Republicans started.
Yeah.
And that was a pushback against, I guess, the way things had always been done. And I mean, I think when you go back far enough, whether the Democrats are Republican or they believed in small government and less taxation or big government and social programs, whatever, that they would legitimately try to work together. But I think the Tea Party Republicans really kicked open the door and left it open for MAGA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think those are people that have come in, they've set fire to the rule book, they've flipped off all of the conventions, and they are playing dirty pool, while the Democrats are still trying to take the high road. And there's a lot to be said for that. But then when you're appointing court justices for life, and I think, what was it? Obama held off appointing someone.
No, they wouldn't let him appoint a judge. They refused to vote
maybe
for
that's
him.
what it. Yeah, but
and then when Donald
doing that because of where he was in his presidency, and then when
but
the
that
same thing happened with Trump, they were just like, not a problem.
And he actually said, I think it was McCarthy, one of the guys, the guy who looks like a turtle, actually basically went, no, different rules. He basically just straight up admitted it. And it's such a tough thing because I don't want to live in a world where parties reach across the aisle and punch each other in the face. But what do you do if that's what you're trying to do and someone keeps punching you in the face? Like, honestly, what do you do? And the GOP can flip on a dime. I mean, I've been thinking about this today. The right, and whether you think it's the right in New Zealand or the right in America or whatever, for the last 5 to 10 years have been the ones screaming free speech. Free speech, absolute free. It's got to be absolute free speech. The only thing that we should want to halter in free speech is direct calls to action. That when it's a direct call to harm. Like, you can talk as whatever you want and you can't say go and punch that person in the face. That's the only thing. The other groups that have been anti-hate speech, right? We don't want to do hate speech. We can't do hate speech. I can call you whatever you want. I can say whatever you want, but it's not hate speech. And they've been the ones that will defend any joke. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. So we hear Tenacious D has just cancelled their tour of Australia and New Zealand because Kyle, when he had a birthday wish on stage, wished that the shooter hadn't missed. Pretty ill-timed joke. But the ones that have blown up about it are the ones for the past 10 years who have been saying jokes are just jokes. They don't mean anything. You can't cancel someone because of a joke. Then now they're cancelling people because of jokes. They're the ones who have been like free speech, unless it's a direct call to action, are now saying using the term bullseye is a hate crime, basically, and you must repent for it. I mean, Damien Grant was fantastic last night. I loved playing Damien Grant last night because he literally stood there and he defended all the things that Donald Trump had said. He defended him using the term bloodbath. He defended him using the term, there were good people on both sides. And then he went off and talked about the terms and how offensive the terms are that all the lefties are using. So the right gets a pass today to use aggressive, violent sounding metaphor. But because Donald Trump was shot at and hit, the left now don't get the same ability to use quote unquote violent, a bullseye, please. You're playing darts, metaphor. And it's completely flipped. So they are no longer free speech, which they never were, but they are no longer free speech. They are now pro-hate speech if it references Donald Trump, and they're prepared to not defend any joke. They've flipped in a week. Now, they've flipped because it's advantageous to them politically. And that's the worst part of it, actually. No one's going, you know what? like I said last night, the guys from TVNZ didn't need to apologise for that salt gun thing in the Trump doll. Of course they didn't need to apologise. What? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know,
It's
Biden
ridiculous.
doesn't need to apologise for saying bullseye. I was talking to Grant about this before he came on, and I was like, no, what? Okay, Chewy, I'm not even going to prime you. I don't think you heard this part of the conversation, did you, when I was talking to him? Tell me what a bullseye looks like. Like, close your eyes and picture a bullseye. What do you see?
A concentric series of coloured circles.
Yeah. It's not got very little to do with the gun. I mean, you could say you aim a gun at a bullseye. You actually don't. I mean, you know, what's her name from Alaska? Sarah Palin. She used actual crosshairs on targets when Gabby Gifford got shot. Crosshairs, completely, you could attribute to a gun. Bullseye, what, dart, archery? It's not to do with AR-15s. And people are screaming at Biden for using that terminology. You know, do you denounce Biden for using the word bullseye? No. What? No. So here's the thing. If nothing had happened to Trump, would we be asking him to denounce it today? Of course we wouldn't. If Biden had said, I wish that Trump be assassinated, and he didn't, should he apologize for it today? Yes, of course. Because that's a call to action. This is the thing that these free speech purists have always talked about. See, the difference with us, as I think I can say this for you, Chewy, we're not free speech purists. We're like, there are lines. And the debate's always been, your line is here, our line is here. What's happened over the weekend is the GOP and the right have moved their line to be about now before the lefts. And it's just gross. It's wrong. It's just gross. And I'm not going to play the game. And although I got a bit of stick last night talking about Destiny, I will say, even though he was very ill-equipped for that conversation, he made a bit of a fool of himself. I congratulate him for not bending the knee when they were insisting that he denounce the shooter, not because he wouldn't denounce the shooter. We all would do that, but because they were using it in that instance as a political game to make the left do something that the right refuses to do in the same instance. That's all it was, right? Yes, of course, we don't need to say we denounce the shooter. Of course we do. Of course we do. But that wasn't what they were asking Destiny. They were saying to him, bow the knee and admit to our terms in this conversation. And he wouldn't. So good on him. Chewy, you've got some stuff there. Sorry, I finished my little rant.
No worries. I mean, you don't see imagery like that from left-wing candidates. You know, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene with an AR-15 with a ridiculous scope on it. Marjorie Greene, save America, stop socialism. How are you going to stop socialism?
Yeah, with that big gun. That big drum.
You know, it's the implication. You know, we're going to take
that is a call to violence. That is a call to violence because what she's holding is something to stop someone. If she's saying stop socialism, that there is far more a call to violence than mentioning the word bullseye when you're talking about we need to target someone. That there is far, far worse. And look, we did this the other night, but I've heard people talk about it more since. I think all the Americans are now following our lead, Chewy. Is that what's happening with the right and media at the moment is they're putting up all these clips of podcasters and comedians and announcers saying things like Trump is Hitler, Trump is like Hitler, right? And then we put up all the people who are saying that the left are all pedos and baby killers and drink the baby's blood and that kind of stuff, and they're all fucking politicians. Show me the list of 10 politicians that have said things that could be interpreted as something worth killing someone for. It's very hard to find it. Show me a list of the politicians on the right. You can probably get it off Twitter today. You can probably find that pretty easily. So it's just not like for like. It's not like for like. And whatsoever, it's not like for like.